Getting Answers, Western Mass News.
Good Sunday morning. Hope you're having a good weekend wherever you are. Welcome to Getting Answers, where each and every week we focus on the issues and events here in Western Massachusetts with the newsmakers and people who are making a difference. This week, we're going to take some time to look at the work of the Center for Human Development's Big Brothers Big Sisters of Hampshire County, and specifically their Daffodil Run, which is coming up in just a little bit at the end of this month. My guest in this first segment are Ann Walsh. She's the Development and Partnerships Manager, Bob Lowry, the founder of Bueno y Sano, but here today in the role of mentor and lunch buddy. Good to have you with us.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thanks so much for having us.
You know, we all know, I think, about Big Brothers and Big Sisters, but I think a good place to start, Ann, is to tell our viewers about the mission of Big Brothers Big Sisters of Hampshire County.
Right. So the mission is to make one-to-one mentorship matches between vetted adults and kiddos in our community.
I know the Big Brothers started around 1904, so we're looking at 120 years. Is the mission pretty much the same today as it was when you started?
I think when it first started, it was a few people looking at kids that were troubled, that needed some support. And although that might be still part of that, really any child out there needs support and mentorship and needs to feel heard and seen.
Somewhere along the way, we all need that support, right?
For sure, yeah.
And it's just good to know the Big Brothers and Big Sisters is there. Bob, you are a three-time mentor, also known as a Big, and a lunch buddy in the new Lunch Buddy program. Yeah. How and why did you get involved with Big Brothers Big Sisters?
It's just something I knew that I wanted to do at some point. I don't know how that got into my head, but it was there, and it was a great thing to be doing when I was doing it, and it was some of the best times I've had with kids in my whole life. And I have my own kids now. Yeah. But I was a bachelor for a while, so okay. I had some time to be with other kids.
What does being a mentor involve?
Mostly it's just hanging out once a week, you know, for 2 or 3 or 4 hours, doing something fun. It's like having a best friend that you actually hang out with a lot, you know? That's what it was like for me. And the kids, they sort of grow up to your level. There's not a lot of like kid stuff. It's just like hanging and like dudes or gals or whatever, you know, just having fun.
I guess you think about it now, it's like, okay, for this hour or 2 hours or whatever, I'm just focusing on you.
Exactly.
And something these kids don't get a lot of is...
Well, I think no matter what the family dynamic is, parents are busy, you know, or their caregivers are busy, and to have a one-on-one relationship where you go get ice cream or throw a frisbee or, you know, work on math problems or collect rocks, no matter what it is, the interest is, kids like to have a one-on-one moment. I know we could all remember when we were kids and when an adult paid attention to us, how great that felt.
Yeah. And Bob did mention it's not a huge time commitment, but what do you get out of it?
Well, kids like to have one-on-one moments, and so do adults. You know, it was super fun for me. It was just, hey, let's find something fun to do, and it was usually something different, and I mean, it was one of the most fulfilling things I've done in my whole life.
Yeah, you talk to people, it's like you get more from it than what you're giving. Is that a fair statement?
Yeah, I mean, sure. That was absolutely true.
I've had people come up to me, one woman that's in the program in Lunch Buddies, and she grabbed me at a chamber meeting and she said, Ann, you know, I thought that I was going to be giving so much, and yes, I do, but I'm almost in tears every time I leave hanging out with that child because it's so rewarding. It feels so good, and we're forming such a great relationship. So these friendships are very special.
Yeah, I think it's a lot of things that many families, we take it for granted because it's just there in everyday life, but a lot of these kids don't have that, do they?
Yeah, no, you know, they're getting lost in the shuffle somehow or whatever, and yeah.
Yeah. All right, let's talk about the Lunch Buddy program. This is relatively new. What's that all about?
It's great because we're meeting kids where they are. Our community matches, like Bob did for three different times. The mentor and the mentee get together, or big and little, we call them. They get together and they decide what they want to do. But for the Lunch Buddies, we have a number of vetted adults in the community who will go to school lunchtime, and there's a group of them. We meet in a library or an extra cafeteria room, and they have lunch and they play games, right? You do
and you're doing that too, Bob, right?
Yeah, playing Jenga.
Yeah.
Connect 4.
Yeah. Who doesn't love Jenga?
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Hanging out with Brooks, my guy.
That's your person?
Your person there, yeah.
Yeah.
How many schools are taking part in the program?
We've got 3. We started in the first year. We started with one school and Jackson Street, and now we're also at Ryan Road and Wildwood in Amherst. So we have Florence, Northampton, and Amherst, and we're hoping to expand.
It'll be a nice break from you from the daily work routine too. It's like, all right, I've got some time, and we're gonna have some fun.
Oh yeah, it's on Friday. Head over there. It's a cool program. Yep.
And what children are eligible to be part of Big Brothers Big Sisters?
Well, technically it's 6 to 18. Usually we hit between 8 and 17 or so. And all you have to do is be a kid.
That's it?
Everybody's eligible. Yeah.
How many children do you serve right now?
We serve a mix of kids. At High Point, we're around 100.
Yeah.
So it kind of rotates depending on the school year. And because we have a lot of UMass students also that become bigs, depends on when they come back. So, about 100 throughout the year, varying.
And if you want to be a mentor, like Bob or any of your other mentors or bigs?
Contact us, yeah. Go to.
Are there special requirements?
Well, once you express your interest, there are very in-depth interviews to make sure that a little bit about your background. Every adult is vetted,
Yeah.
And but also the reason for that is the kiddos and their families are also interviewed because our caseworkers make very intentional matches. If you have similar interests and hobbies, they do a really good job of making sure that you can get on.
What would you say to somebody who's watching this and thinking, well, maybe that's something for me? What advice would you give them?
Oh, I'd say go for it. I mean, it's for me, it wasn't a big time commitment because it was, usually it was on Sunday. We'd go for 2 or 3 hours, and something I kind of wanted to do half the time anyway. Like some place I wanted to check out or some hike I wanted to do or whatever. But I honestly, I think it's one of the best things I ever did for my own mental health and my outlook and and just being able to contribute,
Sure.
and and it was fun. The whole thing was fun.
That's good to hear. So, and too, if someone's interested in becoming a mentor, they should look on your website or give you a call?
Yeah, go to babebig.org because that will direct you to our particular agency.
All right.
Yeah.
Bob, thank you for joining us. And
thank you
for all you do. Time for a break. When we come back, Northwestern District Attorney David Sullivan joins the conversation about Big Brothers Big Sisters of Hampshire County. Stay with us. Welcome back to Getting Answers. Today we focus on Big Brothers Big Sisters of Hampshire County with Ann Walsh, the Development and Partnerships Manager, and we're joined by Northwestern District Attorney David Sullivan. And I understand Big Brothers Big Sisters recently recognized D.A. Sullivan with the Lauren Kahn Award. Tell us what that's all about.
Yeah, so Laurel was on our board of advisory board for a very long time, and unfortunately she passed. And to honor the incredible work that she did, we began giving awards. And DA David Sullivan has been an incredible supporter of Big Brothers Big Sisters of Hampshire County. He will do anything we ask him to do. In fact, we just celebrated with a wonderful fundraiser, Big Love Little Performances. And David is so great that he agreed to perform, and he dressed all in...
Stole the show.
Oh my God, he totally did. 80s garb, he was dancing.
I think it was more of a comedy show by the time I finished dancing.
It was
so,
great.
That's right.
It was great.
Why'd you get involved with Big Brothers Big Sisters?
I grew up in a large family, and I just loved the fact that I had all these mentors. I had 4 older siblings, and I just thought that Big Brothers Big Sisters gives such an opportunity to the littles for mentorship and for that trusted caring about adult in their life. So, I just love the mission that they have, and it makes a difference in a kid's life.
How important is that mission and what Big Brothers Big Sisters do to the work your office does in the effort to build safer communities?
Big Brothers Big Sisters on a national level did a very detailed study several decades ago, and it found that it has such a profound effect on school attendance, on college enrollment down the road, but also kids don't get involved. It's 46% of the kids that are littles do not get involved in drugs. compared to other kids that don't have those littles. And alcohol the same, but it makes a huge difference. And I like to say the best way to fight crime is invest in kids.
Invest in kids. And I know about that too, is like the fact that you have the Northwestern DA, on your side. I mean, it's got to say a lot to everybody. It's like, I can trust this guy.
Yes.
That's got to be huge.
Yes. He referred to a report many decades ago, but we've had recent reports, and everything that you're saying was confirmed. The data's in. It makes a big difference. And David has joined us on many shows to let people know that it makes a huge difference in the child's history.
You talked about that, the importance of mentorship to a young boy or girl, and the fact that you're focusing attention just on them for the specific, even if it's an hour or two.
And many of the young people, they might not have siblings anymore, or maybe they only have a single parent, and that caring adult that spends time with them makes all the difference in the world for them and for their mental state.
Is a lot of this with the kids too? Is it just listening to them, like giving them somebody to talk to? It's like, if you got something to talk, let me know. I'll talk. I'll hear you.
I think that the bigs and the littles develop a great relationship over time by doing things that they enjoy together, and their tender little hearts can feel safe to share some of their hopes and their dreams or things they're excited about. Kind of test it out with someone who's safe before they talk to their peers. Peers can be so critical, so it's great to have an adult that will be enthusiastic about your ideas.
It's a great extension of the work your office is doing.
Yeah, it's all about being involved in the community.
Yeah.
And it makes it on a micro level that big sister, that big brother pays that attention. And that's, the biggest ailment in our society today is loneliness.
Yeah.
And do you want your young people playing with Game Boys and everything else, or do you want it with a trusted adult that's maybe bowling or going to the library, whatever it may be, whatever the hanging out part of it is so important in the development of a child. And this development keeps going on. It goes out throughout their lifetime. They've had that person, and they're still involved. And I'll tell you, I mean, you have some bigs that have been doing it for 20 years, right?
Yeah. Relationships that last over the decades is really a beautiful thing. And you don't have to be an expert at anything.
Yeah.
It's not about you teaching or imparting your wisdom, although that sometimes comes across. It's about shared activities and just being present for a kiddo.
You were talking about loneliness too. That must have been exacerbated during COVID, where these kids who were used to being around a big, now they're alone.
It was isolating for everybody, from youth all the way, through adults. And I think that the young people, they want to be guided. They want that kind of objectivity.
They want rules.
A parent, I just grew up in kind of a traditional household. I wasn't going to my parents with any issues or problems.
Sure.
Let's put it that way. Unfortunately, I had two older brothers that maybe guided me the wrong way sometimes. But just the same,
you turned out all right.
But just the same, they were so important in my life, and I realized that every young person needs people like that in their lives, and coaches, and I've coached, and you see, you have good coaches and you have not so good coaches, but the great coaches, I still remember every one of them.
Yeah.
Right.
The impact they have on your life.
Yeah.
And that's carried for decades. They carried through your entire life, isn't it?
I still remember my sister's best friend. She spent like 10 minutes with me, but I nicknamed her Pickles. And those 10 minutes, I'm well into my 60s, and I still think of Pickles and how sweet and what a great interaction we had, and how it built my confidence because of all the things that she said to me in those 10 minutes. So.
How good is that to have that kind of impact?
Yeah.
And I had an older sister. She was only one grade ahead of me. And what a great influence. And her friends were my friends, and vice versa. And it's just so nice to know that you were guided in your youth with somebody that cared about you.
Indeed. All right, we're out of time for this segment. D.A. Sullivan, good to see you. We're going to have you back on the program and talk about the work that your office is doing, too.
Great.
Always good to see you. When we come back, Ann and I are going to be joined. We're going to talk more about the Daffodil Run, to benefit Big Brothers and Big Sisters in Hampshire County. I'll get it out. We'll see you back in a minute. Welcome back to Getting Answers. Ann Walsh and I are joined by Jack Petverdes. He's the advisory board president for Big Brothers and Big Sisters of Hampshire County, and he is the lead for this year's Daffodil Run, Sunday, April 26th on the Amherst Town Common. Jack, thanks for joining us.
Yeah, excited to be here.
Jack, how'd you get involved with Big Brothers and Big Sisters of Hampshire County?
Yeah, so I've actually been a big myself, a mentor for over 3 years now. And then my involvement with the Daffodil Run and the board started that way, and I've just been getting kind of a little bit more behind the scenes. I'm still a mentor, but now I help with the Daffodil Run, some of our other events, and just everything we have going on with the board as well.
This is the 16th year for the Daffodil Run. What's it all about? I mean, obviously there's running, but not necessarily running, right? So,
Well, running, walking, and let's face it, sauntering.
Yeah.
Yeah, lots of sauntering.
you get to be my age shuffling, so it's no.
My little brother likes to sprint walk the whole way when he goes.
But it's a fun morning and just getting
It's
together for a
great.
great
It's a-
cause.
So fun.
Amazing community event. There's food, there's music, there's games. There's a lot more than just the 5K and the 10K.
In a
Yeah.
great location centered on the Amherst Common, right?
Correct, yeah. It's a great spot. We have the UMass Minutemen marching band that starts us off. We have the expandable brass band that's there. We had food, as you mentioned, tandem breakfast bagels. And this year we're giving away flowers to every participant, daffodils from Wee Farm, Wee Vice
Farms.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's going to be great.
How many
Yeah.
runners do you expect this year?
We're
Or participants, I should
Yeah, we're expecting over 600 this year, which is a great number for us, and many more come and just hang out on the common, play the games, enjoy the food and music.
Just to be part of it.
Just to be part of the event. Yeah, it's a great day. The weather's hopefully nice, usually most times, the end of April, and it's a great
It's one of those times of year, right? You hope for the best.
Well, I have a joke that the weather gods, every time we schedule it, they're like, okay, all right, April 26th, make sure there's some rain so there's some fear and doubt. But
Yeah, always.
usually it doesn't come till later in
It
the
ends up being
afternoon.
beautiful most of the
Yeah.
time.
That's it. Just being there is the beauty of it, too.
Absolutely.
And how important is the Daffodil Run to the mission of Big Brothers Big Sisters?
Yeah,
and
well,
what you
it's
do?
our largest fundraiser.
It is, yeah.
Yeah, so it's very important. We encourage all of you to sign up to walk, run, or saunter. We have probably 50-50, 50% of the folks that come will run and are serious athletes, and it's a timed and certified race, so they get to use
Okay,
that.
yeah.
And then the other half are walking or just enjoying, meandering through the town center and then back around through past the Emily Dickinson Museum, which we usually have people in costume waving. It's really great.
It's a great way. I suppose it's a good workup, too, because it's a little hilly down there and everything else.
Well,
You're-
hill
you're
here and
gonna
there,
get your-
right?
Couple of
Get your
hills
steps in.
couple of hills that'll trip people up.
Sure.
Not literally trip. That's the first hill that made my little brother turn from a sprint to a walk. Was
Yeah,
when he
I
got to
think
the
I'll
first
walk
hill
this
and
part.
realized he couldn't keep it going.
Yeah, I'm
that whole
good. Yeah.
pace. Yeah.
And is there a fundraising goal?
Yeah, well, we like to hit at least $50,000. Our sponsors and our participants help us get there.
I suppose now in your 16th year, it's one of these things that people look forward to it, and then they just wait for the information to come out and say, okay, I'm in again this year, right?
Yeah, we have people that have done every single one of them. Yeah.
Now, you mentioned the UMass Marching Band. What else is going to happen on the Common that day?
We have some games courtesy of the Amherst Rec Department
Yeah.
that they're bringing out. There's usually a competition either between some of our sponsors and the local police department or other groups.
Yeah,
Food
they're
trucks
great.
are always fantastic. Yeah. This year we have a sponsor in Polar Seltzer who's going to be handing out free drinks and things like that to the whole group of participants. So there's just going to be free games, music, food, drinks, all sorts of fun stuff, and
Yeah.
it's always just a great time.
I should mention, too, Western Mass News is a media sponsor, but I'm sure there's other sponsors who've been with you even from the beginning and stay with you, and new sponsors,
Absolutely.
too.
Yeah, People's Bank is always a great supporter. Leah, Toyota. We have a lot of people that return year after year to support us. And this year we have quite a few new
sponsors
people
as
that
well,
are
yeah.
joining us. Yeah, because it's going to be a whole weekend. The Amherst bid is calling it Daffodil Days. And so from Saturday to Sunday, there'll be a number of things happening in the Amherst area. Lots of fun games and a sustainability fair on Saturday before us, and then our event. So yeah, check the website and look at all the wonderful things that are
So all
happening.
this is grown out of the Daffodil
Yeah.
Run itself.
Yeah,
so.
it's great.
Yeah.
So not it just, yes, it's a Big Brothers Big Sisters event, but it's a community event now.
Correct.
Getting
We'll have local businesses right in downtown Amherst who will set up stations with bells. We have these cowbells that they'll ring while the runners go by.
Yeah.
So everyone gets involved, and it's great.
Yeah, if you don't want to run or saunter, come to the bell
Just come down,
station, shake the bell, and
Yeah,
then come on
just
over
come
for
hang
some
out.
food.
Kind of a
Yeah.
kickoff to spring too, isn't it?
It is, yeah. It's kind of the first marker of spring, because after that, it's pretty smooth sailing with no more snow, storms, and unexpected
And it's
weird weather. Yeah.
Almost the start of the graduation season too. So it's like
Yeah.
you get this done, and then all
The 5 colleges
all
and
breaks
high
loose.
schools, yeah.
So if someone wants to take part in the run, what do they need to do?
You need to go to Get Me Registered / Daffodil Run, or / Daffodil 2026?
Yeah, Daffodil Run 2026,
Okay,
and
thank
it's on the CHD website
Okay.
as well.
Yeah.
And
Now, if
you
somebody
can
wants,
find us on social
are
media.
you still
too.
looking for help too, or are you pretty much set with that, or
Well, we
looking
have
for
a lot of
volunteers?
volunteers, mostly from the colleges.
Yeah, we have great groups of volunteers from some of the local colleges and high schools, and just community members who are getting involved.
Yeah.
We're always looking for more help on the day, but also just more participants coming out to run and fundraise and everything else.
Come and ring the bells.
Yeah,
There you go.
too.
Thank you for all you do, and thank you for coming in today. I know it's been very busy. So, but again, the Daffodil Run takes place Sunday, April 26th on the Amherst Commons.
The
Starting what
last
time?
Sunday of the month. That's right.
What time does it start?
Well, we asked people to get there around 8:30
Okay.
to make sure they register, but the first race, the 10K, starts at 10, and then 10:15 for the 5K, but don't
Okay.
get there at 10.
No, exactly. All right, we're out of time. And thank you, David, Jack, and Bob, for joining me this week, and of course to you at home for watching. I'm Dave Batson. If you can, join us next week for Western Mass News, Getting Answers.